wonderful as usual because the angle is always so interesting. Okay, do you see me? Hello, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah, that's right. Notify everyone that I am live. So I don't know how long I'm gonna stay on here, but as always, we're going to start with a sermon. And as you can tell from the topic, it's going to be, who are you? So what is up, everyone? Thank you for joining. So who are you? Now this is going to apply to everything that you can possibly be manifesting. Okay, don't mind me, I got my jamming headphones on. Hello, because that's how I roll up in this motherfucker. So yes, this will be posted on YouTube, which obviously, if you're joining us on YouTube, you already fucking know that. But anyway, so who are you? Who are you being in the moment? State of being is everything. So let's say you are manifesting money, okay? Who are you? Yeah, you're saying you're a multimillionaire. You're saying that you have a cash flow coming in astronomical amounts. But the motherfucker that has cash flow coming in astronomical amounts is not going to be frantically checking their bank balance. They're not wondering, how is this going to get paid? How is that going to get paid, right? So you have to catch yourself in the moment. And this is what I say to everyone. Who are you being in the moment? If you are saying, I am wealthy, okay, that's it. That's it. Now, you as the focal point, okay, you are wealth. Wealth has no choice but to be magnetized to you. So what's going to happen is that all things that are going to show you who you are, right, who your identity is as someone who is wealthy, are going to start gravitating towards you, right? So money here, money there, money, coming up the ass, okay, money fucking you up the butt and coming out your mouth, okay? That's how wealthy you are, okay? You vomiting $100 bills, that's your mouth, okay? That's how wealthy you are, okay? You vomiting $100 bills, that's serious, okay? So who are you in relationships? Are you someone who is in the who's like, oh no, SP didn't call me, SP didn't text me, right? Who are you being in the moment? Okay, that's the most important thing, because the version of you that you identify with the most is what is going to manifest. And this is why your dominant belief systems, even if you sit and robotically affirm for 10 hours a day, your dominant beliefs, if the next day you go right back to the same identity, the same story, you're going to get that wavering behavior. And this is why wavering happens. So you have to really choose who you are. So for anyone who wants to, do some homework, what I would suggest is that you write down different sectors of your experience, okay? These are different apps, and what you're going to do, you're going to write app for relationships. Who am I? What is the first thing that comes to your mind? Oh snap, that's your dominant identity, friend. That's who you are, okay? That's how you identify in that app. Who am I in regards to money, okay? What is the first thing that comes to you? That is your dominant identity. Career, friendships, family, health, body image, all of that. Every app that you can imagine, you have a dominant identity in there now. So pinpoint who you are being, and all you need to do is just write down different sectors of your life experience, and you'd be like, who am I? The first thing that comes to your mind, that's your dominant identity, that's your dominant belief, and that is what is manifesting, okay? So the reason why you can have random thoughts that manifest out of nowhere that you didn't even think about, like, oh, I feel like getting an all-expense paid trip to Fiji, okay? You can say that, and you don't have any story about that whatsoever. You never even thought about it. You just said it for kicks and giggles with your homie, like, yeah, I'm gonna get a manifest an all-expense trip to Fiji. It happens because you don't have an identity surrounding an all-expense trip to Fiji. It happens because you don't have an identity surrounding that. There's nothing there. So it's like a clear channel. It's like a clean slate, okay? But there are some areas in your life where you also have beliefs that serve you. Okay, so let's say if you have a really good body image, who am I in body image? Oh, I'm the shit. Oh, I jerk off thinking about me, motherfucker. Then that's the belief that's serving you. So you might want to keep that around. Now, if your first thought is something that is unfavorable, that is where you do the techniques. That's where you do the affirmations. And everyone is affirming all the time in their mind anyway, because your thoughts are really just fucking affirmations. You know what I mean? So you want to look at your state of being in all of these apps, map it out, and if you don't like it, you change it. That's where you say the affirmation that implies the opposite. And this is why you don't necessarily... I'm listening to a song right now, and it's called Sky High. I mean, whatever. You know, because that's how we roll up in this motherfucker. But anyway, so what's happening is that when you identify your state of being in every area, okay, this is the magic finger, okay, so your relationship sector, I am chosen, I am prioritized, I'm the only one, right? You're not doing anything. That's how you're carrying yourself. So SP, motherfucker around the corner, motherfucker across the country, motherfucker across the globe, everyone, okay, who could potentially show up for you in your relationship sector are being magnetized by your awareness of self, of you being chosen and prioritized and being the only one in relationships. You feel me? So you don't have to do anything because that's just who you are. And you notice this. Oh, thank you for the rose. So you notice this in areas of your life that are going well, that are serving you kindly, because if you have a identity of yourself that, oh, you know, whatever job you have, you always get along with your boss, you always get along with your coworkers, right? That's, yeah, I'm cool as shit in the office, everyone fucking loves me, okay? So it doesn't matter, you could work anywhere, okay? You could work from home and still be the most popular motherfucker, because your identity is magnetizing that to you. Do you see what I'm saying? This is why you don't have to do anything. So when you are switching out one belief for another, what's going to happen is that the dominant belief that has been going on, okay, like let's say with SP, right? Motherfuckers always leave, motherfuckers do this, motherfuckers do that, you can't trust a motherfucker, whatever, right? If that's your dominant belief, SP loves me, SP's obsessed with me, SP can't live without me. Yeah, you might magnetize them in for a little bit because of that, but if your dominant belief in that relationship sector is that you always get left, SP he gonna leave the chat, she gonna leave the chat, they gonna leave, because what is happening is that a belief is a thought that you keep thinking over and over and over and over. Okay, so just imagine how many thoughts you have a fucking day, right? Like thousands. And the thoughts that you entertain are the ones that are in resonance with your dominant belief, okay? Because you could have a thought about a black lollipop, okay, a licorice motherfucker lollipop, right? And you don't really see that in your experience. You might see kiwi pink lollipops, you might see apple green lollipops. You're not thinking about a black licorice lollipop, so if it crosses your mind, you're not gonna, oh shit, you know, you're not licorice lollipop, so if it crosses your mind, you're not gonna, oh shit, you know, you're not gonna feel any type of way about it, you're not gonna think anything, it's just gonna float across your mind, you're not paying attention to it. Whereas let's say if you have an aversion to licorice and you know, you have a identity centered around, oh man, one time I took a licorice lollipop and I didn't like the way that tastes because I thought it was going to be sweet and it wasn't. Like, you have a story about that. So now it's like anything about that story, you see a bag of lollipops, you're going to be in fear, like, oh no, right? So it's the same thing with anything, okay? And with people, especially when you're manifesting an SP, what tends to happen with SPs is that the ego gets super involved because, you know, you have feelings for them. You with SPs is that the ego gets super involved because, you know, you have feelings for them. You want to smash a homie, right? Like you want to, you know what I'm saying? So your ego is going to get more involved because there's already now emotions spilling into that. So the ego is going to go ham trying to fucking protect your ass. It's be like, oh, remember the last time you were with this motherfucker and this happened, or it'll drag up anything if you have a poor belief system about relationships, and it's going to try to infiltrate what you perceive the SP to be. This is why a lot of times, you know, an SP can show up favorably when you first meet a motherfucker, but then it's like, oh, what happens? And because your dominant beliefs took over. So SP shows up here, hey, what's up, how you doing? They're all good, right? They Princess Peach or whatever the case, okay? So they show up and they all jiggy prime and they're like, yo, what's good? What happens is that, right, this is a SP, they're showing up as perfect, okay? But then the belief is like, oh no, remember when this happened, remember when that happened, whatever the case, okay? And then you start to perceive the SP through the lens, through the filter of that belief system, rather than just seeing them as true neutral, okay? And this is why I fucking preach, I make sermons about being true neutral, because you don't got to be in a heightened state. Because even if, let's say, motherfuckers, you're married to motherfucker for like 15 years and shit, you're not going to be like hyped, oh my god, like they text me. No, you're just going to be like, yeah, they text me, I'm married to them, why would they not text me? Like, it's going to feel natural to you. So the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the secret is the neutrality of the thing. And what is happening when you have a belief system that is in direct contradiction to the thing you're manifesting, right? The SP, okay? SP shows up perfectly, and then your belief system is, oh, this motherfucker gonna leave. So what's gonna happen is that your mind is gonna start to play tricks on you, but in a negative way. And what we manifest, it's like, yeah, you could say kind of like your mind is playing tricks on you, but in a positive way, in a way that serves you. Your mind is be like, oh, they gonna leave. And the SP's showing up perfectly, be like, oh, they gonna leave. But the SP is showing up perfectly. And then, oh, no, they're gonna leave. So then you start to believe that, okay? And then what's gonna happen is that maybe, you notice the SP texts less, the SP calls less, right? It's just gonna become evidence for you, right? Because your dominant belief is constantly searching for evidence to prove itself as valid. And if it's a belief that serves you, or it's a belief that is in detriment to what you want, it matters. And if it's a belief that serves you, or it's a belief that is in detriment to what you want, it matters not. It just matters that the belief is there, and it's looking for evidence of itself, okay, to create more of itself. So if you want to think of it, it's like your psyche is like a host to many different beliefs and thought forms, okay? Like you're the host, right? So you're hosting it, right? Because you're entertaining it. So if a thought, right, like this is what in the fucking Bible, what does it say? I am the Lord of all hosts or some shit, whatever, right? Because you're hosting ideas, okay? You're hosting ideas, okay? That's fucking what someone invited me to co-host just as I started talking about hosts, but I'm giving a sermon, so apologies. I don't, right now this is Oculus. So that's fucking weird though. That's fucking wild. You see manifestation, I'm talking about hosts, I get an offer to co-host. So whatever. So it's like this is you, right? You have a vessel, but you also have a higher self, and awareness of consciousness that gets to pick and choose what it wants to host. And by host, I mean you're entertaining it, right? Think about it. You host a party, you're entertaining a group of motherfuckers. So it's like you host a thought, you host a belief system, you're entertaining it. You're going with it. So if there's a belief system, SP shows up perfectly, but you're hosting the belief that motherfucker's a sack of shit. What's gonna fucking happen? They're gonna start showing up like a sack of shit because you're hosting it, you're entertaining. You're like, oh, okay, sure, I'll show you around a little bit belief system that I do not favor, because hey, you know what, maybe I'm used to this type of shit, so it's familiar to me. And maybe you'd rather host a bunch of motherfuckers that you at least know what you're getting into if they enter your fucking kingdom. I mean, even if it doesn't serve you, it's at least familiar, right? Rather than a brand new motherfucker. Oh, you don't know this motherfucker, so you don't know if you want to host them. You don't know if you want to let them in your house or not because you don't know them. Even if they might be, you know, amazing and almighty and wonderful, you don't know it. It's unfamiliar. So the ego is going to put up the barrier like, whoa, 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 motherfucker. This is what we know. Even if it feels like shit. So when motherfuckers talk about, you know, in the Bible, when they say I'm the Lord of all hosts, because you're hosting everything. You're hosting the thoughts, you're hosting the beliefs, you're hosting emotions even, okay? Because you are not the thought, you are not the belief, you are not the emotion, you host them by what you entertain. You're entertaining like a host would entertain motherfuckers in their home, okay? So you want to sweep up your fucking kingdom. I don't even know what's going on in the chat. I apologize, but thank you all for being here and welcome if you just joined the party. But you know, I'm doing a sermon right now because I'm jamming to a song. It's called Sky High, and you know, we might be might be a little twizzy prime with that. But when you're hosting something, that means that you now, from your focal point of consciousness, you're putting your awareness on that. So that's where you're focused. You're not focused on the SP that they showed up perfectly for you. You're not hosting them in true neutrality. That they showed up perfectly for you. You're not hosting them in true neutrality, that they're just a motherfucker that showed up. You're hosting a whole shit ton of beliefs of things that maybe have nothing to even do with you. Maybe it's a societal program, like what I say in one of my videos, of these societal bullshits that's the dating advice motherfuckers talk about. If you want a man to be interested in you, you gotta do this. If you want a woman to be interested in you, you gotta do that. Oh my God. You good? Are you okay? Yeah, maybe that works for you, but if you want whoever the good, are you okay? Yeah, maybe that works for you, but if you want whoever the fuck you're interested in to do something that you want, then you need to host the idea and the thoughts and the beliefs about them showing up favorably for you, no matter what society says is proper, no matter what your grandmama said, no matter what Meemaw Peepaw said, it don't fucking matter, okay? It matters what you host, because you are the operant power. You are the only one that is in your consciousness. So you don't like it, it doesn't resonate with you, you're gonna sense that, okay? If you're trying to make your parents proud, oh my God, that's another one. Why I gotta go to a good cop could give me a congratulations and a fucking Saturn cube hat, okay? Because that's what a diploma is. It's a whatever. Anyway, that's another topic, okay? But if you are doing something for anyone other than you, what you have successfully done, you've hosted the idea that now that thought, that belief, that program is God of your reality, because you're hosting it. You're saying yes, yes, yes. You're like welcoming it in, even though you don't like it, but you're still the one that's hosting it. So at a certain point, you got to accept responsibility that you're the only motherfucker that's in charge of your fucking thoughts. Like, there's no one else in your psyche but you. It doesn't matter what anyone is saying. It doesn't matter what anyone's thinking. It doesn't matter what anyone is doing, because they are all operating out of your parameters. So decide who you want to be. They are all operating out of your parameters. So decide who you want to be. Are you creator? Or are you just someone who just gets, you know, jostled around by everyone and everything else, okay? Because when you step into alignment, you say, I'm the creator, all things come from me, I only host shit that I want, I only host motherfuckers that I want, what's gonna happen, like what I said in the beginning, is the fucking magnetism, okay? The fucking magnetism. Now you are the creator. So it's like, ooh, things are showing up, right? Ideas and thought from, hey, can you host me? Nah, motherfucker, get out of here, okay? And you get to choose. But that's all it is. It's a decision. This is why a lot of motherfuckers deciding and not wavering from that and saying it's done. You don't need to do anything, because when you come to this awareness where you're just like, this is what it is, this is who I am, anything, because when you come to this awareness where you're just like, this is what it is, this is who I am, and you refuse to host, to entertain anything that is not in alignment with who you say you are, and to entertain anything that is not in alignment with who you say you are, in any sector of your experience, in any of the apps, it can't. You have the option to host them, but you're choosing not to. You'd rather host this because it's more in resonance with what you want. It feels better. The thoughts are like, you know, making you feel more calm and neutral, rather than something, fear, I'm worried, anxiety. Okay, but you're hosting that. Okay. So let me talk a little bit about, like, let's say there's a thought form that comes up, a belief that comes up while you're in this process. Now, the emotions don't manifest. Personal experiences, maybe, you know, something that you witnessed, okay, with someone's experiences, maybe, you know, something that you witnessed, okay, with someone close to you. You kept thinking that, and then it's like things lie dormant, okay? So here's your subconscious mind, but here's your conscious mind. The conscious mind controls the subconscious. So the conscious mind is like thinking, and to the point it's just the subconscious is like, okay, well, you know, you gave me that input for long enough now, because the subconscious, you know, it has to do with emotions. Subconscious, you know, it has to do with emotions, okay, and conscious mind has to do with thought and critical fucking thinking. The thought is a command. You always want to make sure that you fucking understand that, okay? Because you got to type out what the fuck you want before you can see it shown back to you in Google. It all comes from a fucking thought. So what's happening is that you think something long enough, and then, you know, the subconscious now is like, okay, cool. So the subconscious goes by emotions. That's how it gives you feedback, okay, through emotional experiences, but it's still coming from the thoughts. So now what happens, why you can sometimes have this anxiety, this fear, whatever the fuck, without even thinking anything, is because the subconscious mind is so much larger than the conscious mind, okay, that it can seem like it's overwhelming, but it's just larger. It's storing fucking everything, okay? It has a whole bunch of shit. It has what you ate for breakfast when you were 7 years old on fucking Friday the 13th, okay? No, for real. Oh shit. You were 7 years old on fucking Friday the 13th, okay? No, for real. Oh shit. Yo, today's Friday the 13th. I love Friday the 13th. I'm just saying, man, whatever. I didn't think about that before I jumped on here, but fuck yeah, I'm gonna call this Friday the 13th live, holla. So it has all this shit stored, your subconscious mind does. And then what happens is that because it's giving you feedback through emotions, okay, now the emotions, because it's so much bigger, can seem like they overwhelm you. And this is why you get triggered. Like when something happens in the 3D, which mind you is a neutral fucking thing until you assign a meaning to it consciously, the emotions are heightened. Oh, okay, cool, right? You jumping up and down and shit, like you walking on hot coals, whatever, okay? So then what happens is that it can feel like your emotions are dragging the thoughts, and then that is why you get triggered, because you allow the fucking emotions. You allow the emotions to drag the thoughts, but the thought is the command, okay? It's like, yo, what the fuck you doing, right? It's like what? It's not natural for the thought to be dragged along, and that's why you create even more of like chaotic circumstance in your mind, okay, which then can, if long enough focused upon, can create chaotic circumstances in your 3D, because you allowed the emotion to lead the thought. You allowed it, but that only came from a thought that you thought so much that it built up the emotions. Now the emotions are like, whoo, they're like all over the place, okay, haunted up in that motherfucker, okay? We got the haunted mansion up in your fucking minds, okay? You got bats in the belfry and shit, okay? So what's happening is that you have to take control. You as the conscious creator, you're not your thoughts, no, but the thought is the command. So you utilize the thought. The emotions are not real, they're not yours, you're hosting them. So if the subconscious mind brings up some weird emotion that from a 3D neutral circumstance, what you gotta use critical thinking. You have to use logic, and that manifestation is not logical, but if you want to power through your fucking shit belief systems, you have to think through it. Yes, feel the emotions, whatever needs to process out. Okay, cool. You gotta cry, you gotta scream, you gotta punch a motherfucker, whatever, okay? You know, just let it out. Just, okay, yeah, the emotions are here. Let it go. I'm in control. I'm the only one. I'm the operant power. This emotion does not serve me, therefore I'm going to let it go. If that's all you did in the fucking moment, if you were triggered, your life would be a whole lot smoother, and it will get easier, okay? But you have to keep in mind, you are not your emotions. You're not even your thoughts. They are tools that you are hosting. Okay, so what happens is that the ego can recognize, oh, there's a feeling here, what's going on? The ego, can recognize there's a thought here, what's going on, right? But your higher self is beyond thought and emotion. That's where your desires are born. It's just that when your desire is given to you by your higher self, universe, source, consciousness, God, whatever the fuck you want to call it, you must compute it into a thought. But you're not your thoughts. It's just you are the desire now. Okay, so your higher self is not looking at your thought. It's not looking at your emotion. It's just the way that the operating system of the matrix runs. Okay, there is an ego. Thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate you. The operating system, because I look at it and this is not right. The operating system, because I look at it and this is not right, this is not wrong, it's just my personal, the way that I look at it, the operating system of the matrix is like a video game. So you get the fucking vessel and you get the egoistic programming, whatever the case. Okay, so you have the ego, limited thinking, which is attached to the body. Thing is that the body has been through in the past, but there really is no past, there's no future. Your higher self is just all it is. It's one observing, playing the game. So to your higher self, it can navigate through the thought and emotions, because it's like, whoa, but everything is right here. But because the way that the game is set up with the parameters, it's kind of like, you're navigating through these thoughts and emotions by your higher self, but through the ego. So that's why, you do conscious manifestation techniques. Okay, so if you want to think of it from the ego, you give a command to the vessel by avenue of thought, and then if you continue to give it the same feedback, it's like you're charging up your avatar, you're charging up your character in the game, and you're giving it life. Okay, so you're giving thought, positive thought, or there's no positive, there's no negative, but it's just what you favor, and whatever. Okay, because to your higher self, everything is but whatever. Okay, I'm saying for the parameters of the game, because theoretically, if you're not playing the video game, does it really exist? But you're playing the video game. So you are the one who is sensing. Thank you for the gift, love it. You are the one who is sensing, okay, an emotion is coming up. What does this emotion say about a belief system that is going on here? Okay, and then whatever. Okay, so let's use the SP for example, because I know y'all motherfuckers love talking about specific motherfuckers, like goddamn. But I need a little break before I get into the specifics, because goddamn, like specific motherfuckers, like whew, like, yo, we gonna get a little bit into that, but goddamn. Have me a seltzer here. This is raspberry lime. Fuck yeah, that is. So let's just do this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, pina colada. So specific motherfuckers. Okay, let's give you a specific motherfucker example. Okay, so you have a belief system that relationships don't work out. Okay, and that was from a thought that you kept thinking over who knows what amount of time. Okay, based off of societal programs, what you witness, what you experience. Relationships don't work out. Okay, so now you have an emotion tied to that thought process. Okay, so your subconscious mind is like, you know what I'm saying, it's eating that up. And what happens is that because now the subconscious mind goes off of feeling, because it's here as an added layer of experience to make you perceive that the matrix is real, right? Because you feel it. Okay, now a person, not even a specific person, a person shows up, okay, in your relationship sector. But your relationship sector, because of the thoughts that you've thought for such a long amount of time, are, in congruence with a shitty feeling about relationships. So now what happens, the person shows up, they're neutral, okay, because everything is neutral. But that belief system from all of those thoughts and this subconscious emotion are saying, oh, that person is not safe because relationships don't work out. It could be anyone showing up, okay? It could be anyone. Pick a motherfucker, okay? It could be anyone. So relationships are not safe. That's your dominant belief. So then the person shows up. No matter what this neutral individual does, if you're coming from that belief system, that relationships are not safe, you're going to view them as a threat. Or at least your ego is. Your higher self is like, but I am this motherfucker. They're me. The fuck. Your higher self is just okay, right? But see, here's why you're here. Here's why you look at content like this, because you are in direct communication with your higher self. So you already know that you're at, because you are in direct communication with your higher self. So you already know that you're at cause, okay, of a lot of things in your experience, okay? You know, your dominant experiences, if you're looking at any type of manifestation content, you already have a knowing that you had a hand in creating that, okay? I'm not saying you deserve content. You already have a knowing that you had a hand in creating that, okay? I'm not saying you deserved it, but there was a hand in creating that unconsciously because of belief systems. But now, because you are aware of that, you have actually leveled up in the game. So you are aware that you have a higher self, which is all encompassing, which knows that you and the SP are not separate, so they can't be away from you. There is no contact. I don't know what motherfuckers talk about, like you're in no contact with your SP. Like, really, dog? So thought transmission, like what? All right, whatever. Because you always in contact with motherfucker. You always in contact with everything because you are everything. But for the purposes of this video, okay, so a specific person shows up, okay? Now they're just neutral. So if you just had a neutral standpoint, if you're like, yeah, relationships are cool, yeah, they always work for you. If you just had a neutral standpoint, if you're like, yeah, relationships are cool, yeah, they always work for me, they're safe, they're cool, your dominant emotions are going to be either happy or they're going to be neutral, or, you know, because the thoughts didn't build up a shit belief system. The thoughts maybe built up a pleasant belief system, okay? And if the belief system is serving you and you feel good about it, then you might want to stick with it. But the person shows up and you have a shit program about relationships, no matter what that motherfucker does, you're going to look at it as they are out to get you. You're gonna be like what? Oh, yo, SP rolled up. What the fuck they want? You're gonna send a screenshot to 10 homies like, yo, they said this. What you think of that? Oh my word. Oh. Shit is janky. Okay, so that's coming from the belief system. So no matter what that motherfucker does, this motherfucker over here did nothing but show up to show you and your relationship sector. That's what they did. They're like, hey, what's up? They're waving a white flag. Yeah, motherfucker, like you got guns blazing and shit. Whatever the fuck you doing, okay? And you're just like, no. This motherfucker, why? Because you have, they're guilty. It doesn't matter what they do, okay? They're guilty. It doesn't matter what they do, okay? So a neutral or a healthy, if you want to call it, relationship belief system is like, oh, this person showed up, yeah, they're cool, I like hanging out with them, whatever the case may be, okay? But you have a story that's in detriment to what you want. That belief system likely is going to win. And this is why a lot of you, especially if it's someone that you've dealt with in the past, why you get wavering and hot and cold from this motherfucker is because you keep looking at the past of either with them or the past in relationships. Oh, but your ex did this. Okay, but this motherfucker is brand new. They're not your ex. Technically, everyone is you. But if you've elevated your awareness enough to realize, like, okay, your ex met you at the level where you were at when you met them at that time, and maybe you weren't as well versed in the process of manifestation and reality co-creation at that time. You know what I mean? Now you're a brand new motherfucker, but the ego and the subconscious belief is going to try to grab at something that your physical vessel avatar has experienced, because that's all the ego can grab from, okay? So it cannot grab from the higher realm of knowledge, okay? The higher realm of knowledge can shoot down ideas to the ego via the command of the thought, but the ego can't, you can manifest from the ego, right? Where if you're, and I'll tell you how you manifest from the ego. You manifest from the ego, oh, SP, okay, cool, yeah. And I'll tell you how you manifest from the ego. You manifest from the ego, oh, SP, okay, cool, yeah. They ain't text you back in 10 minutes, so now you're going to do a drive-by outside their house to catch them. Like, and you're wondering why this motherfucker ain't showing up favorably. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's kind of like, common sense, but, I understand when you're in something, your thoughts can be clouded by the ego and the past paradigm. So you really have to figure out who you are in your relationship sector. Am I someone who believes that relationships work out? Am I someone who is chosen? Am I someone who gets commitment? Like, who are you? And if you don't like what you initially saw, then how you change it is the repetition, right? Just like the thoughts that were feeding you negative shit to your subconscious mind. Then your subconscious mind got all these feelings that exploded, and then it seems like your feelings are running away from you. Even if nothing happened, it seems like your feelings are running away with you, even though nothing happened. Now it's like positive reinforcement. You're saying, okay, yeah, that's the old belief. That's the old belief. That's the old belief. I choose not to. Reinforcement. You're saying, okay, yeah, that's the old belief. That's the old belief. That's the old belief. I choose not to host this anymore, because if you are the SP, right, and they showed up, because specific motherfuckers can be like the best fucking mirror of you. I tell you, they oh my word. Oh my word. Oh my word. In the beginning was the word, and the word was mine, because I'm feeling fine, okay? So you want to say that everyone is you, okay? Because everyone is you pushed out, but the individuals that are in avatars as well, just like you are in an avatar, it's not, you are that are in avatars as well, just like you are in an avatar, it's not, you are not the avatar, but you're kind of piloting it around. They can be the best indication of where you are at, okay? Whether it's friendships, co-workers, family members, relationship, it doesn't matter, okay? They can show you where you're at, because think about it. Like, if you're manifesting money, it's like, okay, yeah, like, yes, money is you too, right? If you're saying I am wealthy, then money has to come from you because you are money. But money is not walking and talking around, you know what I'm saying? Money is just fucking there. So motherfuckers around you are the best indicator. So I would recommend to take evaluation of everyone in your experience and what are they showing you, because they are only showing you back your beliefs that you have either about yourself or about relationships or about that particular type of relationship, and they're doing it in real time. So you can always see where you're at, because reality is a direct reflection. There is no time delay, right? So if someone is showing up for you and they said something, you feel like, oh, I might get triggered. Why? You're not triggered by them. You're not triggered by them, although it might seem like it. You're triggered because there was a belief system that you didn't rectify, and you hosted it for such a long amount of time that now it's like it's alerting you. Oh, look, here's this belief system, like typing in the fucking Google search, okay? And it's showing you like, oh, look here, you want more of this? And then that's your job in the moment, to break the algorithm and to say, okay, no, I'm not going to host this anymore. I'm just not going to do it. But it is going to take the repetition a lot of times. Now, sometimes you can simply just make the decision, you know what? From now on, here now, everything is perfect. My life is perfect. My relationships are perfect. Thank you so much for the gift. And that's all you have to do. But if that was, okay, I'm going to tell you something. Manifestation is instant. Creation is finished. But if that was something that was very, very easily attained, there would be no manifestation community, because everyone would just be doing it. They wouldn't be, oh, how come I can't manifest this? Oh, but this is taking so long. Because there's still programs that you have running in the background that you might not even be aware of, and that's what is causing the time. That's why shit you don't care about, you don't have a program that directly contradicts that. And that's why it can show up fast, because you don't care. Okay. So with manifestation, it's not necessarily about creating anything, because you're not creating any, mantling the beliefs that are holding that manifestation and you apart, because the manifestation is here, you are here, it's already done. But if the beliefs and the programs are there, they're interfering. So now it's not a clear channel. They're interfering. So SP is here, right? You and SP in that perfect relationship, you and them, you are together in the fucking ethereal realms. But from your ego perspective, it's looking at the past. It's going by paradigms and you know, the pent up subconscious beliefs and whatever. So it's your job to say, oh, I see what this is. I'm not going to think that way anymore. And how you not think that way anymore is in the moment. And that's why, you know, the most important thing that I would recommend that you do is really be mindful of who you're being in the moment. That's why the name of this fucking chat is called Who Are You? Because who are you being in the moment? Okay, you're dealing with SP, something happens in the 3D, the emotions start to overwhelm you, and then, oh, ooh, who am I being? SP, something happens in the 3D, the emotions start to overwhelm you, and then, oh, ooh, who am I being? I'm being a motherfucker that has a fucking shit story here. So what is this story? Let me identify. Oh, okay, that's what it is. No, so this is a new story, and I'm gonna go with that. Like, it really is very simple, you know, but in the moment when those emotions that can feel very real are occurring, you know, you have to find your way back to true neutral. Like, that's my recommendation. True neutral. You don't need to be this happy, you know, high off life motherfucker, unless that's who you really are. If that's who you are in general, then good for you. But you don't need to be in a high vibration. You don't need to do that. All you need to do is get yourself to a true neutral. And what I would suggest, okay, you know, with SPs, whatever is going on between you and the SP, you know, however you want to interact with them, I would suggest, just from a 3D perspective, that if you are triggered and you feel like you want to blow up their phone, you feel like you want to do a drive-by, you want to make a fake account, stalk them 6 ways to Sunday on social media, guess what? Number one, you putting the SP on the pedestal as God of your reality. I gotta make a fake account, spy on them. I'm a drive-by. Who the fuck is they that you need to do a drive-by? This motherfucker? No. No. They are not more important than you in your reality. So what that is telling you, okay, number one, you calm down. Okay? Because you want to do some shit like that, I guarantee you in a heightened state. And those emotions, oh, they done kidnapped your fucking thoughts. They like, oh, let's go. Okay, got your thoughts in a fucking sack and shit. Like, whisked you away, or like put your thoughts in the trunk of a fucking unmarked car and fucking sped on out of there. Okay, that's what your emotions did. Where you gotta do drive-bys outside motherfucker house. My goodness gracious. Okay, so number one, if you feel like you're going to start to get to that place, then you want to calm yourself down and get to true neutral. You say, okay, I see what's happening here, but you know what? I'm going to let the emotions pass because they're coming from the old story. And now I know who I am. And my relationship app is Jiggy Prime because I'm chosen, I'm prioritized. Because it is Jiggy Prime because I'm chosen, I'm prioritized. Because it comes from you. Okay. Number two, with dealing with SPs, okay, because thought transmission is real and it's instant, whether they are showing you that in the 3D or not, here, because I know all you could relate to this. Here's SP, here's you, what do they do, lack. It's like you're pulling on them, because they're feeling it and they don't know why. And I'm going to tell you a funny story here. I'm going to tell you a story, real-time example about thought transmission. Yes. So, I'm not going to use any names or identifying details, obviously, but I can vouch for this story, okay? This was not my situation. I've had my own situations with thought transmission, but this one is very interesting, okay? It's like an exhibit. So there are these two individuals, okay? Let's just call them A and Z, okay? So I am cool with A. A is a friend of mine, okay? Z, you know, whatever. I knew both of them, okay? So I trust A. A's telling me whatever, XYZ, ABC. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know, like I can vouch for this story, okay? That's what I'm saying. So there's A and there's Z, something that you would never do, okay? Something that you would never do, okay? And I mean, totally out of character, okay? So let's say if you're a vegan, you're gonna eat a big juicy steak and film it for OnlyFans while you, I don't know, doing some bestial, you know what I'm saying, right? Like, but you a vegan, so you just, that would totally be out of character for you. Like, I would never do that. Like, and you know that about yourself, okay? So think of something that you know about yourself. You would never do that, okay? And you know that with conviction, okay? So this is A, okay? A is just like, you know, they know themselves, they know who they are, they know what they're about. Z over here is coming at A. You're gonna do this, okay? In this example, you're gonna eat a steak, you're gonna do some filming on OnlyFans with bestiality on whatever, okay? A is like, you stupid? Like, what? Like, I would never do that, okay? Z is like, yeah, you are. And A is just like, I don't know what the fuck you talking about, right? So A and Z already made a decision about something about A, okay? And A is just, and I know A is like, what? And I know that A would not do something like this, but Z was so hell-bent on this. They made the decision. They said, no, you're going to do this shit. A was like, all right, whatever. Like, just kind of like checked out, not even caring, okay? So a little bit of time goes by, and, you know, A and Z, they're still interacting. And Z now to A, it starts sensing a little weird, okay? Like, A is just getting an off vibe from Z. Z's not doing anything, okay, other than the initial, oh, you're accusing A of whatever the case, okay? Z didn't mention that again, but Z now is sensing as weird to A, and A is like, I don't know if I'm feeling this. There start to be some weird things going on in the 3D, but Z is not actively doing anything. There's just weird things happening that A is getting turned off from Z. Turned off, okay? Because remember, Z, right, made the decision. A is this type of individual, and A was not that type of individual. A is not that type of individual, but Z was so fixated on that. So now, because of thought transmission, Z made the decision, and this is where you could put it to an SP, okay? Made the decision with such a conviction that A is a type of individual that is going to do that thing, okay? And A is not. And so now, because Z is focused on that and made the decision, it's infiltrating the psyche of A, and A is not knowing what's going on, okay? Because I didn't even know all of this until after the fact, and neither did A, okay? So A starts just feeling weird about Z, like, huh? Like, I don't, like just getting an off Z, like, huh? Like, I don't, like just getting an off vibe, okay? This is you and your SP. So you stalking a motherfucker, you doing drive-bys, you make it up fake accounts because you made the decision that your SP was a cheater or whatever the case, okay? So you made that decision. All you need to do is make a decision that the actions will fucking carry themselves out, okay? Just like in my example with A and Z. So Z made that decision about A. A is like, I would never do such a thing, okay? So then, and it wasn't anything crazy. It was just whatever. I just used that weird example about eating steak and OnlyFans, but it was nothing like that, okay? Just to assure everyone, it was just something that A would never do. So I just want to put it in context. If you think of something that you would never do, so A would not do something like that. Z made the decision, yes, you are. So that's like, you are over here, you meet SP, you have a belief SP is a cheater, they're just gonna cheat. You might be conducting yourself normally in 3D, okay? You know, maybe you're doing drive-bys, maybe you're making fake accounts, but you're just normal, like, oh, SP, hi, hey, how you doing, okay? But in the back of your mind, you're like, SP is a cheater. You made that decision, so now SP has no choice but to stick to that decision unless you make a new decision with conviction about SP. So back to my story. So a little bit of time goes on. A's feeling weird about Z. Like, I don't know, there's something off with them, like just getting turned off slowly. And this is what happens with SPs, right? They don't typically just up and leave unless that's a specific story you have about them, but it's slowly. You notice, oh, the text message are dwindling, oh, the phone calls are stopping, oh, this, oh, that, right? They're getting more busy, they're spending more time at work, okay? Because you made the decision, whatever it was, that they don't have time for you, or that you're not chosen, you're neglected, whatever the case, okay? So they are still getting that. So come a little bit of time later, A, without even thinking, because this is, before I was even into conscious manifestation, okay, and before A, was into conscious manifestation. So it's like after we only kind of sorted it out that Z had made the decision. A is gonna do this, okay, and A had no idea at that time, but was still getting the thought transmission from Z the whole time, even though Z was acting normal in 3D, but A just started pulling away, and then something happened, something in the 3D happened, okay, between A and Z, and A did the exact thing, which is so out of character for A. Just like I said, if you're a vegan, you're eating a steak and you're doing some bestiality on OnlyFans, okay? You would never do that. That's not your character. But there you are, filming equipment and fucking steak knives and shit, okay? Let's just say. So something way out of character for A. A did the exact same thing that Z accused him of. I would say, it was at least a year before it even transpired. But that was it. Z made the decision about A. You are going to do this. And A had no clue. A was like, no, so that's why you're going to do this. And A had no clue. A was like, no, so that's why your SP can tell you, no, but I'm in love with you. Like, I don't want anyone else. But if you made the decision based off of a belief system or based off of how you see that motherfucker and you stick to it, they're going to start getting the ick slowly, and you don't need to be doing anything in the 3D. You could show up perfectly for them on the surface, but it's the undertone of the energy, it's the thought transmission, because I can only imagine that Z, every time that they talked to A, was just thinking in their mind, oh, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do this, and A had no idea, but A was still getting the thought transmission, interpreting it in their minds. Like, I don't know why, because A did not know why they were feeling off about that person. A was just kind of like, and it was gradually, okay? So this is why I'm telling you, you make a decision, okay? In every moment, with every person, with every situation, you make a decision. Who are you? Who are they? Who are they, motherfucker? Okay, who are they? Are they someone that is going to leave you? Are they someone that's going to cheat on you? Are they someone who is, I don't know, doing things with goats and chickens in the barnyard? I'm just saying, I don't know. You make a decision about someone and you stick with that. It doesn't matter how you conduct yourself in the 3D, they're getting the thought transmission because you're God, right? You're the only creator, so they cannot do anything, right? Not that you're so they cannot do anything, right? Not that you're puppeteering them, although in a way you kind of are, but you're influencing how they interact with you by your thoughts and perception of them. So if you meet a person, relationships, and you start saying, oh, but this, oh, but that, then this person, they're going to start to get the ick because you're sending them those thoughts. Oh, but I bet they're not serious. I bet they're not the commitment type. I bet, and they could have showed up for you perfectly, telling you, yeah, but this is what I want it with you, and it does not fucking matter. They're getting the ick. So if you think that stalking your fucking I'm talking a lot. I'm surprised I didn't get that puzzle piece. I wanted to keep this one short. So I might hop off in a bit, but this will go on YouTube again. If you're thinking that you make a fake account to spy on a motherfucker, you think that you doing a drive-by in an unmarked fucking vehicle, okay? You making a, okay? You making a fake dating profile and you go on the fucking app to catch them. Why? Why? Because you label them as someone who's gonna be caught doing something. You're labeling them as someone who can't be trusted, even if you're not telling them that to their face. Your actions and your energy and the way that you're thinking is still going over to them, still going over to them, still going over to them. I'm gonna make a fake account. He. They gonna feel it, and they're just gonna start thinking differently about you. They're just gonna be like, should I go on a dating app? I mean, I'm seeing this person, but I just want to see what else is out there. That's how it happens. Okay? That's how it happens. You are infiltrating the way that they show up for you based off of who you label them to be. So I'm going to ask a serious question though. You are in love with SP, so you claim, oh, they're a narcissist. But you just said you're in love with them. Oh yeah, but they're narcissists. Okay, so narcissist again is a label. It's a belief system. Okay, maybe there's some psychological evidence of narcissistic traits. Or love with SP. Oh, but they this. Oh, but they that. But they're narcissists. But they whatever. How you think they're gonna show up for you? You just called them a narcissist. Now you put a label on them. So how you think they're gonna show up for you? That's all I gotta say. And for me personally, with dating advice, with even psychological things, you still have to accept it as true. So there are really, maybe by psychology, there are personality traits that they say can be narcissistic or avoidant or anxious attachment, all of those, but you still have to accept it as true for you. Even if SP stands in front of your face like this, I have an avoidant attachment style. I'm not ready for commitment. You know what you do? Interesting. In your mind, no, they don't. Yeah, maybe they were avoidant before until they met me because I'm the shit. I'm the Lord and there is none else and they're in love with me. You don't go and call your fucking homie, I met this great motherfucker, but they told me they're avoidant attachment. Fuck what they told you. It don't matter. It don't matter what the fuck they told you. Okay? Don't matter. So even if you meet a new person and they tell you something about themselves, you still have to accept it as fact to you because you are the only thinker. So now let's take it a step further, shall we, homie? Why did you form resonance? Why did you form resonance with someone who could show up for you to even say that they are avoidant attachment? It all comes back to self. Avoidant attachment. It all comes back to self. So what was in you? What was in you? Did you have like a fear of that? Did you maybe have an ex who said they were avoidant attachment? I mean, because it came from you. Just saying, it came from you. You are the source. I am the Lord and there is none else. So evaluate that. Why did you attract someone who, and it don't matter, you don't need to take it seriously, but why did you attract someone who told you that they were avoidant? I don't know. You do though. So you see, even when new motherfuckers, even if it's not a specific person that you have history with, you meet motherfuckers where you are at, okay? Where you are at energetically. So your energy is your thoughts and your emotions combined, right? It's a frequency that you are emitting. You're just emitting that based of your dominant beliefs. It's what you're choosing to host. So Why did you meet someone who would even say something like that? But you want a committed relationship, but you attracted this motherfucker that said they're avoidant attachment. So was that part of an old story? Or are you just able to say like, okay, yeah, I see why I attracted that. They said they're avoidant attachment because maybe I was thinking that, you know, from my previous relationship, but I'm better now. So they're healthily attached to me, or however the case. Okay. You met them where you were at. Every motherfucker. Every motherfucker. Don't matter. It don't matter if it's an SP. It could be a fucking friendship, a coworker. You were at that was where you were at, and they, you know, because things of like intent assemble. Like intent assemble. So you still created that. So why I don't know why you did. You might want to do some self-evaluation with that, okay? But it still doesn't matter what they tell you. It matters what you accept is true. And if you're not accepting as true that they are avoidant attachment, then they cannot show up for you like that. Maybe they said that, but then you're like, all right, whatever. And you don't give it any more fucking of your time. You don't host that idea. You just are like, yeah, they said that. All right, that probably came from an old story. You know, it doesn't even matter. They're attached to me in a healthful way that I like. That's it. That's all you have to do. So even if they tell you something to your face, or if you hear a rumor about them, okay, you're like, oh, but that's the way they always were. Really? Motherfuckers could change overnight. I mean, you could snap your fingers and a motherfucker could change. Like, you know, nothing is set in stone unless you say it is. So if someone is showing up, I don't want a relationship, but you want a relationship, that you're just not going to accept that as true. Like, yeah, well, they don't want a relationship with anyone but me because I'm fucking fabulous. I'm the Lord and there is none else. That's how you reframe it. But you don't focus on shit that you don't want, because now you're hosting that idea, especially with individuals. So I would say take note of all types of individuals that are around you, and you can see like clear as day where you are at, because they are all you. So if you're getting treated nice, if you like your interactions with individuals, then yeah, keep doing that. But if it's something that you want to change, it's like there's a belief in there that you likely don't favor, and that's why they're showing up unfavorably for you, because you don't want that, but you still have it in you. So you need to just let it go. That was a long ass fucking sermon, I think, but I still get the puzzle piece. But yeah, that's what I have. I don't even know where exactly. 3D is not an enemy, it's feedback. Precisely. Oh, hey Shelly, thank you. Woo, Sun Pluto, what is up? You're welcome. Hey, Shandi. Thank you for the rose. So what is up? How you doing? So that's thank you. Hey Kylie. Sermon. I don't even, oh, here we go with the puzzle piece. I called it. I was talking for an hour. Here we go with the puzzle piece. Whee! All right. Thank you, Kylie. A great live. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, the thing with me is that I don't have a live schedule. I'm not really like that. Oh, I go live every day at this time. I was inspired to come on here and talk about shit. So that's kind of what happened. And I find that that's like the best, it's just when the information wants to flow. I was talking for a fucking hour. Holy shit. I can't, my goodness gracious. But yeah, that's what I have for you guys. Like your reality is the best feedback that you possibly can get. it like with individuals especially, it's like they really are a direct reflection of you. So, look at everything and everyone in your life and think about, what belief does this say about me? Who am I identifying as in my friend group? Who am I identifying as in my relationship sector? Who am I identifying at work? Or, anything that's going on with you. And if you don't like it, then that's where you start saying the affirmations. Woohoo! So, all right, let me do one question. How do you set intentions? This is a good question, and then I'm going to jump off because I'm getting a little hungry. You set an intention by basically just saying what it is that you want, and then here's the intention, okay? I am wealthy, whatever, right? You have how many millions of dollars? That's it. That's your intention. Don't waver from it. You just go back to the intention. This is what it is. I am wealthy. I have more money than I even know what to do with. Money is constantly flowing to me. That's your intention, right? I am wealthy. I'm a millionaire. To do with money is constantly flowing to me. That's your intention, right? I am wealthy. I'm a millionaire. And you don't waver from that. And you just allow the 3D to show up for you as proof that this is who I am, because the 3D is literally like it's fucking proof of who you're being, okay? And I know some of you are going to say, oh, but if you set the intention and then, nothing happens in the moment. Yes, because you're saying that nothing happens. So you set the intention clearly, and here's the thing. You want to have clarity. This has to be something that you absolutely know that you want. So it's like you're choosing between you want this job or that job, but you're still undecided. That's not a clear intention. So likely you're going to get wavering in the 3D. I mean, something with clarity. The more clarity that you have, the faster it'll happen, because this is what I want. That's what it is. Boom. Okay. It's a clear channel. There's no, oh, but I might want this. Oh, but I might want that. No, one thing, one intention. Okay. Multimillionaire. Cool. No problem. Now it's on autopilot. Okay. So you're piloting your vessel around in the 3D matrix, but so you're piloting your vessel around in the 3D matrix, but it's already on autopilot. That's the intention. So the intention is coming forth from you in every now moment, because you're calibrated to that intention. I'm wealthy. I'm a millionaire. So you're maneuvering every now moment, conducting yourself as such. And I don't mean you go out and, blow all your money on something. I mean, unless it's like that's an inspired action and you want to do that, but you conduct yourself as such. So you're like, yeah, whatever, that'll be taken care of for me. All of my expenses are already taken care of. That'll be paid for in advance. I have more than enough money to cover this. You're just going with that intention, because the intention is you set it and you forget it because you've embodied the state. And this is why I recommend to do this with something that you only have complete clarity on. If you're deciding between two people, if you're deciding between, you want two different houses, thank you for the rose. It's going to be wavering because you're wavering. And if the 3D is a direct reflection of you and you're not clear, you might get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it's not clear. So I would suggest manifesting the version of you that has the thing that you have a clear intention on, and taking it from there. And that's how you stop wavering. And, you can set intentions for specific things that you want, or you can set intentions for, like mini intentions throughout the day, which, I recommend. So when you wake up, you're like, oh, you set the intention. Today is going to be a beautiful day for me. I don't know how, but it just is. Boom. Okay, that's the intention. You set the tone. If there's like a phone call that you have to make and you're kind of like anxious about it, this phone call is going to go better than I expect. Boom. And if you're kind of like unclear about what you want the outcome to be, you can just always say, this will go better than I expect. That went better than I expect. This is serving me better than I expect. You always want to say better than I expect, because your ego is likely not going to fight you on that, because it's not something super specific. Like, what you mean you a millionaire? Like, did you check your bank balance? Like, no. You just say, I always have more than enough money. Ego is not going to try to fight you on that. If you just say better than you expect, you have more than enough, right? it's kind of general, so the ego can't target a specific thing to say, look at this belief that says no. It's just like, oh, it goes better than expect. Yeah, that's plausible. If you feel like you might have resistance to setting an intention. But I suggest, with manifesting a thing that your ego perceives as big, if you know it with clarity that is who you are, you set the intention and you just let the waves carry you, but you have to conduct yourself as though you are the embodiment of that intention in every moment. And that means minding your thoughts. That means allowing emotions to process if they do come up, and just say, yeah, whatever, the emotions are flowing through me. However, you get yourself back to baseline, true neutral, whatever process works for you to calm you down. And then, you just keep saying, yeah, this is it. And sometimes you can just set an intention and nothing will come up. You even forget about it, but for different things, and for different individuals, setting an intention looks different. So, you can set it and forget it. You might not think about it until it shows up in your reality. You can set it, and then if like a thought comes up from an old belief, you're like, ooh, yeah, I see where that's coming from. No, but I know who I am. And you kind of, you're just like, no, this is what it is. Whatever emotion needs to come out, you let it out. You calm yourself down. You keep going. This is who I am. This is who I am. And you stick to that. If there's something that you're, like wanting to just get by through the day, like, I don't know, you're scared to fly. This flight will go better than I expect. Okay. Like, you can set it for many things like that. And for many things, I always suggest saying, this has went better than I expected. You would say it. I would suggest to say it in like a past tense, meaning that it already went better than you expected. But you can, it doesn't really matter as long as you set the tone. Like, yeah, it's going actually better than I thought, right? Like, you're in the moment. But I think I'm gonna hop off here. I was talking for like over an hour, but this will go on YouTube, and I want to try to keep the lives a little shorter, because sometimes I'm on here for like 2 hours and the video takes very long to upload. Oh, thank you for the roses. Thank you everyone for joining, and this will be on YouTube. And the YouTube channel is linked in my bio. It's the same name as my username. It's the same name as my username on here. So yeah, just any all the other socials are in my bio and things like that. Thank you, Martina. I appreciate you. So, I don't know where you guys are at, but have a great morning, afternoon, evening, night. And I will see you soon in another TikTok and on YouTube. Bye.